And we are rolling. This morning I'm recording the video for Dana White's Contender Series Season 9, week number 9. It's been a long run for this series. It's pretty good. It's better than tough because it's one fight after the other. If you've never seen DWCS, Dana White's Contender Series, used to be called Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, I would highly recommend checking it out. I haven't been watching it immensely in the past couple years, but I've been getting a little bit more into it now that I'm making picks on this channel. I'm Coin, by the way, Minted MMA. As we start with the bottom of the card, we're going to start off with Rafael Pergentino. I've been watching the UFC for now over 12 years. This is how I make my picks, and my picks are usually decent, right? I'm usually around like 70% or higher, usually a little bit higher, but I feel like since I started making picks, it's more like it's kind of on the lower end, like around 70%. That's okay though. As we continue to improve, right? There's not much else you can do but just keep going at it. As we look at the first fight on the card with Rafael Pergentino from Brazil. He's 6'1", 5 wins, 3 KOs, 2 submissions, and 0 on everything else in terms of losses and no decisions. He's coming out of Noite de Guerra and BFC, Bogue Fight Championship, and Natal. No. Okay. They're both 5-0, so let's look at Luke Fernandez. He's from the United States of America, from Forked River, New Jersey. Usually, people with New Jersey faces, they lose. And their accents, their faces, it's just like a New Jersey thing. It's like, you're set to lose in life, my guy. I don't know why. But not this guy. He's not set to lose. he's 6'2". Oh, 265 pounds. This is a heavyweight fight. I probably should have mentioned that. Oh, he's a light heavyweight though. So are they fighting? Let's see where they're fighting at. They're fighting at light heavyweight. So he used to be as big as 265 pounds back in the day, like a few fights ago or something, or what? Like maybe last year? Because that would be insane. That's being 265 and then getting down to 205 is impressive. I mean, that's 60 freaking pounds. Obviously, maybe like he cut, what, 30-ish pounds of fat or something, and then he cuts from around 235-ish, maybe? I don't know, even that's kind of high. So I don't know, but he's a heavyweight. Heavyweights are usually less skilled because they have a lot more KO freaking power. They have a lot more grip freaking strength. That's why their skill set usually doesn't evolve as much as the lower weight classes where they have to utilize skills to win. On top of the fact, of course, I just mentioned, like, they're heavy guys, right? If you're a heavy person, you're able to grip really strong, you're able to exert a lot of energy, a lot of force, then you're going to not, you're going to naturally just be less skilled, on top of the fact that gravity is working against you, right? There's a lot of stuff that's working against heavier guys in terms of skill, and I think people know this in general, but anybody that doesn't realize that heavyweights are not as skilled as the lower weight classes, like from flyweight up to welterweight, you should watch more deeply because they're way less skilled all the time. There's like usually no exception. There's usually like no exception to the skill level. But I'm going to go with this guy from Cage Fury. People like Paul Felder, Aljamain Sterling, they came out of Cage Fury. It's a kind of like a cedar branch promotion for the UFC. And whatever the heck this is, Noite de Guerra, like what the heck is that, man? I've never heard of that freaking crap. Sounds like some regional bullshit that nobody freaking knows about. Look at that belt. I bet I could make a freaking higher quality belt than that crap. You know, for probably cheaper too. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Luke. So that will solidify our first pick. We move on over to Tapology to make the pick. I hate when they do this. Tapology and SureDog never have the same order on their thing. Is this the right card? Week 9. Luis. Yeah, this is the right card. Where's Luke's name? He's up here in the third one, man. They've done this twice now. I've only made 2 of these videos so far. Week 7 and now week 9. I didn't make week 8 because I was too busy. I didn't even get to watch week 7, even though I had 4 of 5 picks correct. Not too shabby. We're going to go with Luke Fernandez, be a round 1 KO of Rafael Pergentino from the regional Brazil scene. He's coming out of Cage Warriors. I feel like he's just going to dominate him. Plus, he's a lighter weight class. He probably learned, because light heavyweight versus heavyweight, I still think even in that sense of them being around the same size, the light heavyweights usually have more skill than the heavyweights. It's just a trend. It always happens. Like even the fighters that seem to move between the two weight classes, you can, I guess, maybe ignore those, like the ones that are kind of tweeners, but in general, the ones that are actually light heavyweights versus the ones that are actually heavyweights, much of the time, the light heavyweights are going to be more skilled. And I'm not saying that he should go up to heavyweight and beat him, because that's not really how that works. But how it works is he's going to have to cut a lot of weight because he was a heavyweight, right? And it's going to drain him. And that's a factor that a lot of people don't seem to understand. Like, man, that's going to drain that boy. He used to be 265 pounds, if this is right. This stuff isn't always correct. So just take it with a grain of salt, of course. Don't make your picks based on these stats, because they're not always right. But I do think there's something you should be noting for sure. As we move up to the second fight in the card with Donovan Hedrick versus Luis Felipe Diaz. Let's check out Donovan Hedrick from United States, Florida, 28 years old, 6'0", 6'1", 170 pounds. They are indeed fighting in middleweight. 170 pounds. They're fighting in middleweight. That means he's probably moving up, right? That's something you should probably think about when you're making these picks. He seems like he's probably moving up as well. 176 is like a random kind of weight. That means he's probably fought around there last at one of these dinky promotions. Yeah, dinky promotion, as I mentioned. I don't know, PFI, Paranagua Fight International, and LFC, La Bombonera Fighting Championship, and Brave FC, where he got murdered twice in Brave FC. And Brave FC is the biggest name at all these places he's been fighting. He got murked back in the day as well, 2019. Don't go too far back, but sometimes going far back actually can help you decipher how a fighter fights. That's how you can decipher it. It's just like looking at the way they lose. KO by knees. Oh, he got that. He didn't lose that way. Decision. TKO by Andre Fischer. A submission. So he loses. Decision, KO. Like half by KO by finish. So yeah. He is 29 years old, Luis Felipe Diaz. 5'11", and since their weights are basically showing about the same here, 170, 176, I'm not going to worry about that too much. I don't think he's probably like a super huge middleweight then at that point, 185, and he'll probably be fine. He looks kind of skinny in this photo, but the photos can be deceiving, and that could be old. Although it might not be old, because he's from where? I mean, he might have like become a champion or something recently in Combat Night. St. Petersburg? Interesting. From Florida? Wait, oh, okay. Where's Combat Night from? Oh, it's from Florida. Right? Okay. You get I think people understand my confusion with the St. Petersburg thing. I was like, a Florida guy is fighting in St. Petersburg? But no, that's, yes, but in Florida. So yeah, I'm gonna go with, usually I go with the veterans, right? When I see a record like this, 16-5, I'll go with the veteran, because it just makes all the sense in the world, versus Donovan Hedrick, 28 years old, 6'1", 170 pounds. All finishes. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Hedrick simply because he just seems to have probably more of an aura. I mean, he's got that belt on his freaking shoulder. He's fighting in, honestly, I don't know what Combat Night is, but in Florida, it's more than likely better than whatever the heck this is. Fight International. And maybe not Brave FC, but he lost in Brave FC twice, right? So, yeah, that doesn't bode well for Luis as we go back to Tapology and pick Donovan Hedrick via... This is probably going to be a night of KOs and finishes, maybe submissions as well. Finishes in general, because Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series usually produces a lot of finishes. I'm going to go with, like, when does he normally knock people out? Round one, straight up round one. Same with him, round 1, unless he gets knocked out or decisioned himself, he lasts quite a bit longer. Round 1, yeah, round 1, some round 2. It's going to be a blaster. Another round 1 KO and another one. As we lock in the pick for Donovan Hedrick, we move up to the third fight on the card. That is Roque Conceição Moreira Jr. versus Imanol Rodriguez. So let's see here. Roque from Brazil. He's 25 years old, 10-2, 5'4" at featherweight, or flyweight, 125 pounds, versus Imanol from Mexico, 25 years old, same age, same height, 5'4", 125 pounds, flyweight, same. So he's 5-0, 10-2. He's had a couple losses. I think losses, if they're not ridiculous losses, is not a bad thing. This one was a split decision. He probably learned. This one, just a decision. Yeah, okay. He's lost in the amateurs before by armbar, so he knows how to lose. This kid is 5-0. Coming out of Fury FC, though. I think Fury FC is probably okay. Fury Fighting Championship. And he's coming out of... See? But I, like, just because his record is so much stronger, he has 12 fights on top of, like, a few more amateur, 3 more amateur fights there. And he's... Oh, Thiago Santos, who is that? That's not who we're thinking of, dog. Yeah. He's a flyweight, so there's no way he would be fighting Thiago Santos. But, yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Brazilian here on this one over the Mexican. Although, like, usually, because I haven't seen these guys fight at all, right? I haven't seen them fight at all. This is how I'm making these picks for this Contender series. And usually when they're making matchups like this, there's a good reason why someone 5-0 is going up against someone 10-2 with like a similar kind of record. And they're like, they got similar stats and everything. It means they're probably on the same kind of level. Just because he's 5-0 doesn't really mean he won't win. I mean, like, he fought, I think Fury FC is better than all the other, and even Combate Global is decent. So, like, the competition really matters in my mind. You're looking at these names. I'm never gonna know any of these names. Let's see. Fury FC, like, who's been fighting? Like Luis Gurule. Oh, he was just in the UFC not too long ago, right? Stay away, Gurule. Don't put him on your parlay, as they say. But yeah, wow. Every fighter, like in the red corner, won this night, or what? Or do they just shift everybody to the left if they win? Because that's interesting. I don't think they do that. I'm pretty sure they keep their spots. Like, the bigger name goes first, or the higher ranker. Bigger name or higher ranker goes first over the other one. So everybody on the left side won. That's interesting. That doesn't matter, though. Honestly, yeah, let's just stick with my pick. I'm going to go with the Brazilian here. He looks like he's probably a little bit more lanky. But I can see this kid probably pushing out like a hard decision or something. And just because they're getting all these KOs and stuff, a lot of the time that's usually because the competition isn't good enough for them. That's why they're getting all these KOs before they go into the UFC. And then a lot of these KO artists will just end up like flopping in the UFC, not getting any KOs, just all decisions if they even win. So let's find Imanol. We're going to choose, I mean, like, I'm leaning toward him. Like, I feel like I'm leaning toward the Mexican kid with 5-0. I feel like I'm leaning toward him, but I feel like there's something making me want to choose Junior. Maybe it's his record. Yeah, I'm going to go with him. I mean, because they're both 25 as well. I keep thinking he's younger just because he looks younger. At 25 and you're only 5-0, maybe he just doesn't have enough experience, you know? And this guy's had experience like throughout his whole life fighting. Maybe. I don't know if that's true. Those are sometimes just the things you kind of think about in this sense. I'm going to go with decision, though. Oops. Yeah, decision. Let's go with decision. I think sometimes competition, especially at lower weight classes, it's kind of hard to finish people when you're even. You're pretty even. So let's go with a decision for Roque as we move up to the card. 4 out of 5 to Juan Adrian Luna Martinetti versus Mark Vologin. Why do I always have trouble with like the Russian names? That's Russian, right? Let's see. Yeah, he's from someplace in Russia. Petrozavodsk. Probably some nice little baby town or something, right? That sounds like a little nice town in Russia. Look at him. He's 25 years old, 5'5". He's like such a small looking man, but like a beefy small man. He's fighting at bantamweight. In my opinion, if you have this build, if you're not a wrestler, I don't know what you're doing, man. Like, if he's not like marabbing people, he's not out there like Marab Dvalishvili, I don't know if I would choose him, because you getting KOs at bantamweight, which is good, but like, you look at the competition, right? And he's lost as well. Rear naked choke back in the day, 2020. He's had a decent amount of fights since 2020, since here. But not too many in the past few years. I mean, only 3 fights in the past 2 years. And then only 1 in 2023. Yeah, I mean, he's fighting like he's not even working his way up the freaking MMA chain. I don't know. I feel like he should be fighting way more than that. But all these other people have like lesser records too. So I don't know if I should be picking on him specifically. And him, we have Juan Adrian Luna Martinetti from Ecuador. He's 30 years old versus the 25-year-old, 5'8". He's 16-1, 4 KOs, 6 submissions, 6 decisions. And he's fighting out of MMA Mexico, Udo Cento, FFC. And he's fighting out of All Stars. Yeah, I gotta go with the more lanky guy that can probably just like keep Mark at a distance. I think Mark's gonna be kept at a distance. Maybe this guy's just gonna keep jabbing away at him, and maybe he'll even find a submission on his body, because his body's so grabbable. It's so compact. Like, he's big, but he's not. Like, he's a compact little boy, you know. I mean, he's a big guy, but I mean, like, I don't know, I just feel like you can grab this guy, you know. You can grab him. This guy's a little bit skinny, so it's like you try to grab him, they're sweating a little bit. Whoop. Nope. As we move up the card to Lucas Caldas versus Magomed Zainukov. Oh, this is another Magomed, I suppose. It's probably gonna be hard to choose against him, I imagine. As I look at Lucas's record, he's from Brazil, 29 years old, 5'10". They're fighting at lightweight. Let's make sure, right? Lightweight, yes. He is from Chuto, Brazil. Okay. He lost by Patrick Gomes. Oh, he had an illegal... He stomped on somebody? You stomped on somebody for your first loss, my guy? That sounds like lack of fight IQ, in my opinion. Why the heck you stomping on some person, dog? Why are you doing that? You'll see. Magomed Zainukov, Wild Chonko, 30 years old, 1 year older, 1 inch taller, 5'11", 7-0, 5 KOs, 2 decisions. And his last 2 decisions were the last 2. Yeah, I've never heard of this Magomedov specifically, but I think it's going to be hard to not choose him. Look at this, his association, right there, boom. Aldumanap Nurmagomedov School. That's basically Khabib's place. That's his daddy. Aldumanap. Yeah, so let's go with Magomed. I have to go with Magomed, especially based on this freaking loss of like stomping on somebody. He was probably winning as well or something, and he was just like not present and aware enough to not realize you can't stomp on people. Maybe he came from other promotions where he could. No, I don't think so. I mean, he's been in Shuto the whole time, every single fight. They don't allow it in different fights within the promotion, that's for sure. So I'm gonna choose our man Magomedov Zainukov, or Magomed. Same thing, right? Same name, basically. Magomedov, Magomed. You just add a little bit extra on there. Add a little bit extra flair. Now, I could see this going to a decision, especially with the Magomed name. But I think, again, I mentioned it, they're a slightly heavier class as well. They're at 155 lightweight. So I think sometimes stylistically these kind of matchups work out that way as well, despite him, you know, like you can't really just see, oh, he got 2 decisions in his last 2 fights, he's gonna get a decision again. That's not how it works, right? So I think he could probably finish this guy, especially because this guy's probably aggressive. 6 KOs, nothing else. He's probably aggressive, and usually when you're aggressive and not really good, you get got. You get got, man. So let's go round 2. Round 3. Let's go round 3. KO. Does he get submissions, Magomed? No, only KOs. I don't know if he's a grappler. I don't want to go for submission for him if he's not a grappler. And I believe that was all 5 picks, right? We save the picks. We view our picks on Tapology. Your picks are still processing. Yeah, we're too quick. Reload. There you go. So we have all 5 of 5 fights now picked for Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series Season 9, Week number 9. This has been Coin. You have been you. Don't forget to check out my VPN, which is popping up right now, www.coin.me. Get a cool VPN for super cheap. You don't even have to subscribe. You can get it through crypto access with just an email, and you will have an amazing, blazing fast, over 70 servers VPN for a very reasonable price. Yeah, so these are the fights. Leave some comments down below what your picks are. Come back after the fights to either berate me or give me props, because we've been getting some props with some of these other cards in the past. Check out the other content on the channel, and for now, deuces.